Hey guys, what's going on? Kel back here once again, representing the 40k YouTube channel, bringing you some latest information from the Warhammer community page regarding the Adeptus Sororitas. For all those who are new to the channel, we post Warhammer 40,000 content every single day, and we would really appreciate it if you like, shared and subscribe to the channel. Several people have done it over the past week. 25 subs we're up to now. It's really good to see. We do all kinds of videos, and we'll be doing even some battle reports, as I said before, when lockdown is up. But this video today is about a faction focus. We've done a couple of faction focuses this week. We've done the Space Marines, the Necrons, the Chaos Space Marines, and today is going to be the Adeptus Sororitas. So let's jump into the video. So the Sisters of Battle may be among the Imperium's most elite military wings, but how will they adapt to the new edition of Warhammer? Well, we're here to investigate, channeling the wisdom of playtester Andrew Gonyo to get inside scoop. Have your boltgun, flamer and melter at the ready. It's time for the Adeptus Sororitas faction focus. And there we have some of the models. I'm not too familiar with the ones. I know that is Saint Celestine, the one with the big wings, the Living Saint. Apart from that, not 100%. And it looks like they're fighting some Chaos Space Marines, maybe some Alpha Legion. So, who are they? The Adeptus Sororitas are the military arm of the ecclesiarchy. They are divided into several holy orders of highly trained and dedicated warriors whose faith in the God Emperor of mankind is absolute. In battle, they purge the enemies of humanity with a zealous fury and steely determination that rivals even the mighty Adeptus Astartes. So strong is their conviction in the God Emperor's divinity that it is not uncommon for them to perform deeds on the battlefield that are nothing short of miraculous. Yeah, if there's one faction that comes close to being as loyal to the Emperor as the Adeptus Astartes, it is the Adeptus Sororitas. These guys go purging in the Emperor's glorious name across the galaxy, using normally flamers to burn the heretics, burn the Xenos with furious wrath. So, how they play in the new edition. They may wear power armour and wield bolt guns as their primary weapons, but the Sisters of Battle are a very different beast to the Space Marines on the battlefield. Here to give us some pointers on how they'll play in the new edition is Andrew Gonyo. In addition to being a playtester and member of Team USA, he's won tournaments more times than Saint Celestine has returned from death. And Andrew says, the Adeptus Sororitas were a big hit when they released earlier this year, and one of the biggest improvements you'll see in the new edition for them is an increase in the number of available styles of play. While there are currently several viable styles, the strongest Adeptus Sororitas armies in match play tended to be very infantry heavy with a fairly high model count. However, my favourite army compositions of the Sisters of Battle, and probably in general, is more of a mechanised mix-forced approach. With the changes to how vehicles interact with the game, I think you'll see more viability to these styles of play than you currently do. And here we have some of the newer Sisters of Battle models, the names of which I can't remember. There are some mental models. You'll see that model in the middle is like a floating pulpit from a church full of flamers and melters and all kinds of shenanigans. We've got the big rocket tanks at the back and all sorts. I love the Sisters of Battle. I think they're a great looking set of models. There are higher things on my list that I would like, but the Adeptus Sororitas are probably in a top 5, maybe top 6. But they're up there. Anything that would go purging in the Emperor's glorious name is always going to be up there. So next, while some factions have many ways to deploy, Adeptus Sororitas have generally been a bit more straightforward. They're either hoofing it on foot, riding a transport, or one of 2 units, the Seraphim and the Zephyrim, capable of dropping directly onto the battlefield. However, you'll soon be able to get some of our key units in the more interesting positions using strategic reserves. This gives a new lease of life to a few units that are a bit too fragile for me to want to deploy, or that needed to get close to the enemy but previously couldn't. Mortifiers and pennant engines, I'm looking at you. So another picture there. There is a couple of pennant engines on the left hand side. Those are the guys that are like strapped to the kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Dreadnoughts of the Adeptus Sororitas, but they're a bit more open and a bit more gothic. So lastly, as a brief note on the 5 phase, I think there are 2 main ways the Adeptus Sororitas are going to excel: multi-charges and getting riskier and harder to perform for most, but with the help of their faith and a couple of trusty miracle dice, the Sisters of Battle are really going to shine. Secondly, many Adeptus Sororitas units are quite squishy, and the prevalence of Overwatch in the current edition really made certain unit types questionable to go charging into. In the new edition, that will become much less of a problem with the changes to how Overwatch works. Yeah, that's been a massive talking point, the way Overwatch works and how you have to pay a command point and kind of preempt it. I've seen a lot of chats for and a lot of chants against it, but I think the real test is going to be when 9th edition drops, how it's going to be played. And once we get a few battle reports, not just on this channel, but a few battle reports on the internet in general, then we'll get a better idea. Anyway, I think the large challenge players will face in a new edition is the change to the Lookout Sir rules, which require more careful positioning of your characters for them to benefit from the same level of protection. Adeptus Sororitas armies tend to be somewhat dependent on key support characters, so having them become more vulnerable will present a new challenge. I intend to overcome those by keeping a close eye on what I keep near them. There should be no shortage in my army of both vehicles and decently sized infantry units, and the 2 of those together should give me all the protection I need to keep my linchpins alive. So Lookout Sir, this is not something I've heard of before, so let's have a thing. Lookout Sir, models cannot target a unit that contains any character models with a wounds characteristic of 9 or less with a ranged weapon, while that unit is within 3 inches of any other friendly vehicle or monster unit, or while the unit is with 3 inches of any friendly units that have 3 or more models, unless that character unit is both visible to the firing model and is the closest enemy unit to the firing model. The maelstrom of battle makes it difficult to pick out such individuals. Ignore other enemy character models with a wounds characteristic of 9 or less when determining if the target is the closest enemy unit to the firing model. Okay, enough. So basically, it needs to be, as we before, which I didn't realise that was the actual rule that was called. It has to be the closest model. That's fine. So in the new edition, I'll be approaching the Sisters of Battle with more use of multiple small units. The changes to both blast weapons and the morale favour armies that field medium-sized units. I previously used large units, but now the benefits of playing smaller, more sensible-sized squads. I'll have some points left to take other units, more dedicated transport, maybe even the mortifiers I always wanted but couldn't quite fit in, and key units. Now that we know the score, let's have a look at some units from the Adeptus Sororitas roster upon whom the God Emperor's divine benevolence has fallen. And we've got a Hospitaller first. Like I say, I'm not too sure on these models. This looks like an apothecary, I'm guessing, with some doves carrying the banner work. The robes and the armour on the Sisters of Battle always look really good. The highly detailed, they've got the fleur de lis, and you've even got an injured Sisters of Battle there hoping for the God Emperor's warm embrace. And Andrew says, there are a few Adeptus Sororitas units I never leave home without. The first being Hospitaller. Failing morale tests can be devastating in the new edition, which is going to make the Hospitaller's last right stratagem key to keeping your important units around for longer. Cost a command point, it's called Last Rites, and you use this stratagem at the start of the morale phase. Select one Hospitaller model from your army until the end of that phase. When a morale test is taken for a friendly Adeptus Sororitas unit within 6 inches of the model, do not add the number of models from that unit that have been destroyed that turn. Okay, so that's kind of like stand fast. They're going to be able to power through those morale phases and pass them much more easily. And we've got the Seraphim and Zephyrim models, which is like the fly units. Let's have a quick look what we got. I'm not quite sure the difference between the two. There will be something. The one on the right has more detail, swords, power weapons, where the other ones have more guns, maybe. One might be close combat, and one might be the shooting option, which is what I'm thinking. Andrew says, Adeptus Sororitas are spoiled for choices when it comes to units that can drop directly into the fray, but I'll almost always end up taking both Seraphim and Zephyrim for their speed and ability to pop into the battlefield at a key moment. Whether you choose one or both units really depends on what you're after. The close range literal fire support of the Zephyrim or the armor shredding melee punch of the Zephyrim, backed by their access to the handy embodied prophecy stratagem. So this stratagem costs 1 CP, and use the stratagem at the start of your fight phase. Select one Zephyrim squad unit from your army until the end of that phase when resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model in a friendly Adeptus Sororitas unit within 6 inches of the Zephyrim. You can re-roll wound rolls of 1. Okay, so it's given the whole unit a like the lieutenant buff where you can re-roll the wound rolls of 1, and it's within 6 inches. That's cool for one command point. If you get them in like a blob and you put them in within 6 inches of some of your other units as well, wound rolls of 1, quality like that. And we've got the pendant engines. I love the look of these things. I think these are the best looking things in the whole Sisters of Battle Adeptus Sororitas army. These things are just cool looking. They've got flails and flamers and chainsaws, and it's guys who are strapped to it to pay for the sins or whatever. I think these things look cool, man. So, as if these engines are mutually destructive horrors weren't already geared up to dish out some serious pain in melee, the big guns never tire rule mean that the pendant engines can use their heavy flamers at point blank range, much like the Blaze of Agony ability allows mortifiers to do. Get them stuck in and start cooking your targets, even if you bloodily dismember them with buzz blades and beat them to death with enormous flails. And obviously we reviewed this rule a few days ago. This is the big guns never tire. A vehicle or monster model can make attacks with ranged weapons even when its unit is within engage range of the enemy units. It can only make such attacks against enemy units that it is within engagement range of. In such circumstances, vehicles and monster models can target an enemy unit even if other friendly units are within engagement range of the same enemy unit. Note that if a vehicle or monster unit has more than one ranged weapon, it can still shoot at the target units that are not within engagement range of the firing model's unit, but they will only be able to make the attacks with the weapon if all enemy units within the engagement range of the firing model's unit have been destroyed when you come to resolve the attacks. So basically what that means is, I discussed it before, but if for guys who are new to the channel, new to the video, say for example, you are in combat, melee combat with a unit, and you want to shoot all your guns on your tank, and you might have 5 different guns, and you declare one gun is going to shoot the models that you're in combat with, and the other 4 are going to shoot something at range. You have to clear out what you are in close combat with first. You must make sure that those units are destroyed, otherwise the other guns that you have chose to shoot at range will automatically fail and you can't shoot them. Basically what that means. So in addition, when a vehicle or monster model shoots a heavy weapon, subtract 1 from the hit rolls when resolving that weapon's attack, while enemy units are within engagement range of the model's unit. Okay, and that's thanks, Andrew. How would you plan on delivering the God Emperor's holy wrath to your foes in a new edition? Let us know on the Warhammer 40,000 Facebook page, Instagram, and on Twitter using hashtag New40k. But as I always say, guys, instead of that, leave your comments here. Leave your comments on 40call. We love to read your comments. We love to get new subscribers, and we'd love to know what you guys think. If you're new to the channel and you've watched it all the way through, thank you very much. If you've been impressed by what you hear, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. We would love to have the 25 subs grow into 50 subs within like a month or something like that. So let's see how quick we can get to 50 subs, guys. I really appreciate it. We put out Warhammer 40,000 content every single day. Some days, like today, we've put out a couple of pieces, depending on how much information is left for us to review on the Warhammer community page. So if you've liked it, leave a like and subscribe. And of course, guys, leave some comments. But that's going to be it. I'm going to do a quick bit of editing and I'll put this video very shortly for everyone to enjoy. And if there's anything else put up today, I'll do a review on that as well. But this is Kel, signing out for 40k, saying stay safe, look after each other, and until next time, guys, we'll see you all later.